This thing is a beast as far as gaming laptops go. We're talking top of the tree specs here. It's super maxed out, 4090, the works. This is the top of the toppity top when it comes to gaming. And no, it's not cheap. This is the Acer Predator Triton 17X, and it costs around £4,000, approximately $4,500. So let's take a closer look and see exactly what kind of gaming experience $4,000 of gaming laptop gets you. Let's check it out. As I said, this is top tier gaming tech in laptop form. Acer is not mucking about when it comes to the specs. They've managed to squeeze everything into this. I mean, it's not light. I'm hurting my wrist just holding it up. This is the Triton range, which is Acer's premium metal range. Nothing has been held back. So what do you get for all that moolah? Well, this thing is packed, as you might expect, with cutting edge gaming tech. This is all about high performance. If you're spending this kind of money on a gaming laptop, you're super serious about gaming on the go. And you're going to want the best. The Triton 17X is a successor, as I said, to the Triton 500 SE, boasting a minimalist and durable metal unibody chassis. I mean, look at the size of that. It features a deep black finish with futuristic styled exhaust vents that are both functional and aesthetically pleasing. The gaming laptop is powered by Intel's 13th generation i9 processor with 24 cores and 32 threads and a 5.0 GHz max turbo frequency. For graphics, comes with an NVIDIA 490. Yeah, I said that. RTX 490, which ultimately is going to support better ray tracing, higher frame rates with DLSS 3.0. Additionally, it's got NVIDIA's Advanced Optimus, which is integrated to give you that optimized performance and battery usage. More on that later. In terms of display, this supports a 17-inch mini LED display with HDR 1000 certification, ensuring stunning brightness and contrast. I mean, it looks so bright when you turn it up, and the HDR is chef's kiss. The display also has a fast refresh rate of 250 Hz and boasts excellent color accuracy. Now, of course, with all this power under the bonnet, you've got to cool it. So Predator has enhanced the cooling capabilities with 3 fans, liquid metal thermal grease on the CPU, and a new addition of a vapor chamber. Of course, the Triton 17X offers diverse port options, including Thunderbolt 4, HDMI 2.1, a spacious keyboard without a number pad. You can see it's sort of quite spacious there for you. And per key backlight customization, a premium glass coated trackpad, and it's a big one, high clarity outward firing speakers with DTS X Ultra. Obviously you've got to power all this on the go. So this comes with a big old 1000-watt battery powering the beast. The power brick that comes with it is substantial. That's not surprising. There's a lot to power after all. So as I mentioned, it's powered by the incredible 24-core 13th generation Intel Core i9 processor and a flagship NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090 graphics card to ensure you remain at the top of your game. And as I said, this thing is breathtaking and a beast. You're getting amazing performance and consistency when you're playing. With up to 175 watt max graphics power, this is one of the most powerful laptop processors available, and it uses Intel's hybrid HX architecture. It's overclockable with 24 cores and 32 threads to deliver powerful multitasking. So gaming, recording, gaming and streaming, all at the same time. Now, I'll be using it mostly for gaming, streaming, and video editing, because that's what I tend to do most of the time. And more on how that all works with this a little later. In terms of build quality, this is one tough thing. I mean, there's no flex in this. And then look at the size. It's quite slim, but super heavy. Now, that's because this chassis has been CNC milled from a solid block of metal, creating this kind of metal unibody chassis. There's more or less no seams to this. It's just really, really sturdy and heavy. I mean, it is heavy, but there is absolutely no flex. One of the things I really like about this is its minimalist design. It doesn't shout gamer. I mean, it's just nice and smooth and minimalist. There's not a big kind of taper at the back. It's black, it's dark. It's sort of a bluey black. It's a beautiful sort of bluey black there. I mean, yes, you can have all the RGBs flashing on the keyboard, as I said, but from the outside, it's really, really cool and black. I don't, as I said, almost blue black. This cool black look can mean that this laptop can look at home, in the office environment, out and about, in that kind of stealthy way. In terms of slots, as I mentioned before, you get a Thunderbolt 4. So this is a universal cable connectivity solution that combines data transfer, video output. You can use it to kind of hook up monitors and charging in a single compact port. There's a full-size SD card slot on the side, and you're getting HDMI 2.1 for that high-def gaming. There's USB 3.2 on this thing, and you've got your Kensington lock as well as standard. There's no display port on this, which I think is curious because I like connecting to monitors via a display port. Although, of course, as I said, with the Thunderbolt 4, you can find an adapter there to kind of connect it up to monitors using DisplayPort and get that kind of real high quality image that you might expect. It also uses inside Intel's killer, that's what they call it, Intel's killer Wi-Fi featuring double connect technology. While this isn't a physical slot, basically, this feature allows the laptop to simultaneously connect to both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi channels. What that means is that this can improve online gaming experiences by basically dedicating game traffic to that faster 5 gigahertz channel, and then the other traffic that you might be kind of operating with on your computer, that can go to the 2.4 gigahertz, and that's all controlled by Intel's killer technology in here. It also comes with Wi-Fi 6. In terms of the keyboard, as I said, in this 17-inch layout model of the Triton, they've not opted for a number pad, and this creates more space. This design choice ensures that the main set of keys remains spacious. There's quite a bit of space between the keys there, and the user isn't shifted to one side. It's all kind of central. Such a centered layout, this can be more ergonomic and more comfortable, especially during prolonged sessions, especially gaming sessions. Although I'm not sure you'd necessarily want to use this keyboard for those long gaming sessions. You might want to connect a keyboard to it if you're a serious gamer. Each key on this keyboard can be individually lit, and there's software in here that allows you to kind of customize the whole look. This not only provides a visual aesthetic, but can also be functional, basically allowing users to highlight specific keys based on their usage, such as your WSAD keys. And if you are a hardcore gamer, you'd probably, as I said, be connecting your mechanical keyboard up to this. But I would say overall, the keyboard maintains a balance between functionality and aesthetic, which is a common theme throughout this laptop's whole design. I really love the minimalist and aesthetic design that you get with this. Of course, if you've spent this kind of money on a gaming laptop, you're not using the trackpad. I mean, come on. You've got a state-of-the-art gaming mouse, surely, haven't you? But, however, having said that, this trackpad is super large. It has a lovely large surface, so you can comfortably move that old cursor from one side of the screen to the other in sort of one move almost. It's that good. And also, it has a fingerprint sign-on as well, just to mention that. In terms of the screen, as I said, it's super bright with full HDR 1000, so that's a peak brightness of 1000 nits. To be honest, I was a little disappointed with the screen for normal working, etc. I was expecting a little bit more for my money. But once I'd set the brightness correctly and it gets super bright when you turn it up all the way, and I'd switched on HDR, wow. Especially when playing games, the whole thing really pops. When you're getting a 250 Hertz refresh rate and 3 milliseconds of latency, I tell you what, it looks great. With that HDR 1000, and that's where it comes to life with this screen. The games really pop with colour, detail, brightness. One thing I did have to get used to though, is it's not a normal 16.9 screen. It's slightly taller. I initially fired up Halo and it was really off-putting at first because the field of view felt so off. I had to sort of go in and adjust my FOV because I'm not used to playing on a screen in these dimensions. But after that, it was absolutely fine. But just something to bear in mind if you're used to a 16.9 screen. All my monitors and TV that I usually play on are all 16.9. So, as I said, just bear that in mind. So, with all this power, with all this brilliance, you need a decent cooling system. And this has got it. This laptop is equipped with 3 fans to dissipate heat actively. These fans help push hot air out and draw cooler air in. As I said, you've got vents at the side, and they're quite aesthetically designed. You've got vents at the back, and that ensures that all the internal components remain at a nice optimal temperature. I must admit, in terms of long periods of gaming, the top part of this here got quite hot, but I mean, that's long-term gaming. It does heat up, but it's all manageable. Inside here, there are 2 Predator custom engineered metal blades. 2 of the 3 fans in the Triton X use metal blades that are custom engineered by Predator. These blades have specially designed wingtips that improve that airflow out the back of these exhausts. The design helps these fans push more air, thereby enhancing cooling efficiency. And as I mentioned earlier, the liquid metal thermal grease. This is applied to the CPU. Now, apparently this is a high efficiency thermal compound which enhances that heat transfer between the processor and the heatsink. The vapor chamber facilitates even more effective heat dispersion. Sound-wise, as you'd expect, they've not compromised. The speakers are designed to fire outward, which leads to more direct and clearer sound experience for the user. And it's nice and pretty crisp for a laptop. These are laptop speakers, but the sound is really, really good. You've got DTS-X Ultra technology, which provides a more immersive multi-dimensional audio experience. Now, it's never going to be quite as good as a surround sound or your kind of headphones, but it's not bad. It does create a kind of 3D sound effect. The technology in here can deliver a sound in a way that it does seem you can kind of hear the sound from all directions, which kind of gives you a more realistic, enhanced listening experience, especially when gaming and you're thinking, where's that person shooting from in PUBG? Oh yeah, over there, I can hear it. You know, while gaming, you can keep it around about 40 to 50% and it's perfectly okay. It's good quality sound. Playing Halo, I was pleasantly surprised by the sound quality, and they go loud when you need it. When testing music at 100% volume, the sound did remain clear and it didn't become too mushy, which is surprising for laptop speakers. You're not going to get the deepest bass or that super clarity of sound that you might get with kind of dedicated speakers. But as far as laptop speakers go, I mean, look at that right across the top there. All the speakers under there kind of shooting out in different directions. It is pretty impressive for a laptop. But what about the gaming and using it for those big heavy tasks like streaming and video editing? So let's fire up a few games, crank up the settings right up to max, as after all, that's what you're here for. Gaming with things set up to max is an absolute breeze. The beast handles it all. The games are super responsive, super smooth, everything looks so pin sharp. I mean, my experience with Halo, Forza Motorsport and Fortnite, or rather I should say my son's experience with Fortnite, was a real joy. The games look incredible. To play these games at max settings comfortably, yeah, it's going to be really hard to go back to my old gaming rig, which is, as I said, less powerful than this. You know what they say, once you've had silk, cotton will never do. And believe me, we've had one silky experience gaming with this. I'm especially super impressed with the screen quality. You could see the quality of this laptop screen pop out when I compared it side by side. This laptop screen is so bright, it's vibrant. You can see the glow in Fortnite, and the textures in CSGO were like, super crisp. Playing this thing on top settings, yeah, the fans I mentioned are noticeable, but no more than my current desktop. And it runs quite hot, as I said. My son was playing non-stop for several hours, and the top part there of that panel did get quite hot, but I felt that this beast could just handle that. As I say, I think that's all expected within the design and compensated for. The fan noise is only really noticeable when you're really pushing this thing at full max settings on games. For normal workloads and day-to-day stuff, it's barely noticeable, unlike my main PC. You can set it to balance in the Predator Sense settings, and basically the fans almost stop and it just runs almost silently. One thing I did notice is there is a massive drop in performance when you go to the battery. At full settings, this thing does need to be plugged in as it's drawing a lot of power, but for everything else, absolutely fine. Battery life is obviously very dependent on what you're doing. You know, whether you're gaming like my son for hours and hours, plug it in, trust me. I was downloading stuff without the battery in and doing some light work, and I'd say it probably lasted around 6 hours, maybe a bit more. When you take the power out, it automatically adjusts itself to a more balanced use in terms of its CPU and the fans, etc. And as I said, you can set all those in the Predator Sense settings. That's why you see that dip in performance if you have everything in your game turned up to the max and then you take the power out. It's automatically dropping to a more balanced setting. As I said, with the Predator Sense app, you get to set the efficiency to whatever you're doing. So say if you're gaming or just doing more day-to-day stuff, you can set it to balanced or gaming or quiet mode, whatever it is. If you need it, you know, that extra boost, you can turn it on for gaming. This flexibility is really useful and it allows you to get the best out of the battery and gives you that flexibility that you might need, because you don't need all the power on all the time. You can get quick access to that just by pressing a little kind of hot button up here. As I say, with a little Predator logo on there, that gives you access to setting things like fan speeds and things like that, or just setting some of the presets that the Predator Sense has. In terms of streaming and editing, as a gaming streaming combo, I found it did struggle if I was trying to stream while playing a game at max settings and stream via OBS. But just change the game settings down a tad to like mid-range game settings, which is fine if you're streaming it, and it coped absolutely fine. This might make a great two-computer setup with this as the gaming source and say your desktop, if it's less powered, as you know, your stream device using OBS or something like that. I edit my videos on DaVinci Resolve, and I did some of this video editing for this video on this device, and it was absolutely breeze. It was really comfortable processing some of the more complex effects that I might put into the videos and stuff like that. Look, I get it. Around $4,000, it's not cheap, but in a way, value wasn't a consideration. This is a flagship device. It's almost an experiment just to showcase what can be done in terms of top level laptop gaming. They basically sort of push the boundaries on what could be achieved by a laptop. So it does beg the question, who is this for? I'd say it's for serious gamers. I mean, real serious gamers who are on the move a lot, like a digital nomad who needs power horse on the move. It's heavy. So for your daily commute, you better start doing some strength training. I mean, I'm not so sure about that, but I don't think it's designed for that. It's a gaming computer in laptop form. This is what it is. At the end of the day, Acer and their Predator brand have stuffed this with as much top gaming tech as you could possibly fit into a laptop. And on the gaming front, it really delivers. There are not many gaming laptops on the market right now with these kind of specs. If you want to take your gaming with you, but insist on max settings when you play, this thing delivers. But as I said, its sleek blue-black minimalist design means it's respectable in the workplace. If you don't want something that screams gamer, this is for you. Anyway, a big shout out for Acer for letting me test drive this thing for the last few weeks. It came just at the right time as my son's gaming computer is now broken. So this just arrived perfectly. And to be honest, I don't really want to give it back, but I've got to. And I don't know how he's going to cope with his old desktop after the maxed out experience he's had playing with this Acer Predator Triton. Anyway, I hope you found this useful. I hope you found it interesting. If you did, then please hit the likes, as I like it, YouTube likes it, and it helps people like you find content just like this. And if you're new to my channel, then do me the great honor, please hit that subscribe button, toggle that notification bell, and that way you'll know when I go live with content just like this. Oh yeah, and talking of content just like this, why don't you check out the content over here, right here? You might enjoy it. Thanks for your time.